Hello and welcome to the Critically Clueless. I'm a monk, and today we are in Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous doing yet another character build. This character build is going to be a monk, more specifically a quarterstaff master. Now when I very first started this game, I'd done a bit of gameplay. A few people freaked out at the monk that I created, so hopefully this monk build will redeem me a slight bit in your eyes. For anyone that actually watched that gameplay video, I was just having a bit of a bubble, bit of a role play, and you know, when you do that, you can play as pretty much anything, especially if you turn down the difficulty. This, of course, like I said, is a quartermaster master, and monks are predominantly master of their hands, unarmed combat. Obviously, we are going to be using the quarterstaff in this, and they normally wear no armor whatsoever when they are playing. So keep that in mind, guys, because the monk is a tricky one to actually be playing with. These guys are glass cannons, especially at the beginning of the game, and they're one of the harder classes to actually play with because they do take time to get all the feats, to get everything required to make them really playable. You're going to need good, strong companions with you, especially if you are playing the monk as your main character. Like I said, beginning of the game, it's going to be tough. As you get progressed through the game, it's going to get easier and easier because these guys really do come into their own and end up being really strong, capable companions. Now for our choice in race, we're going to go as human. Again, as I always say, the humans are probably the default pick for everybody. They're very, very strong and just reliable, and it goes with what we're going for. So we're going to go for a human monk. When it comes to background, however, we're going to be going for regional, and we're going to be going for Daredevil. This gives you a +2 to AC against attacks of opportunity. Like I said, playing as a monk is a little bit difficult. You're going to need a few kind of just things that make you a little bit lucky and survive that a little bit longer, because I personally found death in the first few levels hard to avoid, especially if you're playing on the higher difficulty. So having just this bonus 2 in AC against attacks of opportunity helps. Next up, we have our stats, and we are going for a strong 14 in strength. We're going for 11 dexterity, 16 in constitution, 10 in intelligence, 16 in wisdom, and 7 in charisma. I don't really want to tank my intelligence. I just don't think it makes much sense, so we tanked our charisma instead. We're going to need a good strength because we're going to be a melee class, and constitution for that health. We do also get most of our magic and skills from wisdom, hence we've gone 16 in wisdom. Athletics and mobility just make the most sense. I think a good point on persuasion also helps, because I think if he's going to be your main character, then having a guy that can use persuasion checks is going to be really good. And then of course we put a point into religion, but you could change this and go for one in nature. Up next, and we have the feats. Now there's a ton of feats that we absolutely want as we level up in a game. Choosing which order you pick them in can be a little bit difficult. Going weapon focus and focusing in our quarterstaff, as we are a quarterstaff monk, makes sense. It makes probably the most sense out of the ones to pick early doors. However, there are some others to consider. Die Hard, for example, is really good if your if your life goes down to 0, you can still attack for one more round. It acts as if you are disabled, and of course, being a melee character, you're going to be on the front line surrounded by people when this happens. Endurance is another good one to look at picking up early on in the game. And I don't think you'll be going wrong if you pick up lightning reflexes as well, which is a bonus 2 to all reflex saving throws. Another great option to consider is power attack. I say this with all melee classes, but power attack is a really good option, especially for your monk. And shake it off. Shake it off is another decent one that you're going to be wanting to pick up eventually in a game. Whether you pick that first or not is up to you. But for me, I think I'm going to go for weapon focus into the Quarterstaff as the one that I pick at the beginning. But all of the ones I've mentioned are definitely worth picking up. After that, you get to pick a monk bonus feats, and all of these are pretty good options. I think improved initiative is a great option because it gives you a bonus 4 in initiative checks. And that then would bring us to Deity. And again, guys, pick whatever you want. I've gone ahead and picked one that gives me a, gives me one that is favored in Quarterstaff because it goes with the build that I'm going for. It makes me a little bit more proficient at my Quarterstaff. But it doesn't necessarily go with the alignment that I usually like to play with. So I would just pick whatever suits or best suits your style of play, because style of play is really important. The companions that you're going to be having around you and with you and building up with you is really important. This monk build definitely isn't a solo play, although there is a solo build you could be using. So yeah, pick the alignment that best suits your style of play. But guys, that is my monk build, and hopefully, as I said earlier on in the video, that redeems me from the monk build I used in my gameplay footage. It's a really good build. It is a bit of a glass canyon, and it is quite tough to actually use this at the beginning of the game, depending on your difficulty settings. So keep that in mind. Beginning of the game could be a little bit of a hard slog, but as you progress through the game, you'll see that this monk quartermaster master really does come into his own and becomes very, very usable. But I hope you've enjoyed this build guide video. If you have, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Don't forget we do have that Discord for you to join as well, and comment your thoughts down below on this build. What would you do different, or what did you like about it? And if you're looking for a better way to support this channel, we do also have a novel currently in pre-order available on Amazon. It is a dystopian cyberpunk called Seven Broken and Bound, and it will be available in December 1st. The link for that will be down in the description. But I have been a monk, we've been a Critically Clueless, and I will see you in the next video real soon. Until then, as ever guys, take it easy and happy gaming.